Mary Ann McLeod arrived in New York on May 11, 1930, with only $50, equivalent to about $950 today. The mother of Donald Trump, who became the U.S. president twice, legally entered the United States from her native country, Scotland. Initially, it was believed that she came to the U.S. as a tourist and then returned after marrying Fred Trump, a son of German immigrants and one of New York's most eligible bachelors. However, customs documents reveal that she intended to settle in the U.S. from the beginning. Her name appears in the immigration records of that time, which were digitized by the Ellis Island Foundation. The foundation has preserved data on more than 51 million passengers who arrived in the U.S. through the island and port of New York between 1892 and 1957. According to these documents, McLeod departed from the port of Glasgow on May 2, 1930, and boarded the ship Transylvania 9 days later. Barry Moreno, a historian at the National Immigration Museum on Ellis Island in New York, analyzed the ship's passenger records and told BBC Mundo that she came with an immigrant visa for permanent residence. Her visa was issued in Glasgow on February 17, 1930, just 3 months before her journey. The customs document states that McLeod did not intend to return to her native country, but planned to permanently reside in the U.S. and obtain citizenship. January 1st, 2023, 23:28. Social networking. To permanently reside in the U.S. and obtain citizenship. Trump's mother, image source, Statue of Liberty. Ellis Island Foundation. Image caption. Trump's mother's name appears in immigration records from the time they were digitized by the Statue of Liberty Foundation. Ellis Island. Gwenda Blair, author of the book The Trumps, told BBC Mundo that there is no doubt that Trump's mother came to the U.S. for immigration purposes. According to American media, Trump was the fourth of her 5 children. He has always claimed that his mother initially traveled to the country as a tourist, not with the intention of staying. For some, this is an important distinction because Trump often speaks out against illegal and even legal immigration. After becoming president for the second time, Trump signed executive orders on his first day declaring a state of emergency on the southern border with Mexico and limiting the right to automatic citizenship by birth. This is something that was protected by the Constitution. January 1st, 2023-30. Social networking. Trump's mother, who hailed from the town of Tong on the Isle of Lewis in northern Scotland, followed in the footsteps of her 3 sisters, who were already in the U.S. at the age of 18, Christina, Mary Jane, and Catherine. As for her occupation or profession, customs documents record McLeod as a housewife. Moreno explained that housewife could mean several things. A person who works at home, someone who works in a family home, cooks and cleans for others, or someone who works as a domestic servant. In this regard, McLeod seems to have followed at least the path of her sister Mary Jane, who worked in domestic service. She then met her future husband, Victor Pauley. Whatever meaning she gave to her definition of housewife, the truth is that McLeod used it again in September 1934 when she entered the port of New York for the second time from Scotland. The customs document for this second trip reveals other aspects of her early years in the U.S., this time aboard the ship Cameronia. First, she stayed in the country without interruption from her arrival in May 1930 until June 1934, declaring New York as her permanent residence. Moreno highlighted that before traveling to Scotland, McLeod attempted to obtain a re-entry permit to facilitate the customs process during her second entry into the U.S.